Thank you for the comment, Francisco Rocha. You rock. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are comparing the apps of Tricount and Splitwise. Both are apps that are very useful when traveling with friends because they help you to keep track of your expenses and of who owes money to whom. So to compare these two apps, I'm going to do a simulation. In both apps, there's going to be a trip to Vietnam, which uses two currencies so that we can test that out, and where 4 people will be involved. Me, my mom, my brother, and my sister. There will be just 3 expenses, 2 lunches and 1 dinner, and I will also pretend to lend money to my brother to see how the app reacts. This comparison is done in an iPhone. I don't know how different the app is in the Android. Let's start by creating the group. I will head over to Splitwise and I'm going to start a new group. I'm going to call it Vietnam and say that it's a trip. Now, the first difference between Splitwise and Tricount is that Splitwise requires you to give the phone numbers of the people involved. When you add group members, they will have to come from your contacts. If they don't come from there, the app will later on ask you for their phone numbers. This comes as kind of a drawback at first, but for me it is extremely useful because in the end they allowed you to remind everyone that it's involved of the money that they need to receive or they need to give to someone else, and also because everyone will always have access to these expenses because it's registered in their name. Okay, the account is set up. As you've seen, it was quite easy. Now I'm going to do the same in Tricount. I'm going to create a new Tricount, call it Vietnam, say that it's a trip. Tricount asks for the currency right away, something that Splitwise doesn't do, but I don't think that this is very important. Now, to add participants, as I said, it doesn't need to be from the contacts, so I'm just going to write their names. Save. And now, obviously, a little advertisement for the premium account. So yeah, now I have both accounts set up. It was fairly easy in both of them. Now I'm going to start adding the expenses. I'm going to put this dinner in a different currency just to see how both apps react when you have more than one currency involved. And then another lunch. Lastly, let's pretend that my brother borrowed money from me. So in this case, to say that my brother borrowed money from me, I would just have to deselect everyone but him. Okay, now that I have this all, I'm going to do exactly the same in Tricount. Tricount already fixes a rate for the exchange because he's going to try to group the two currencies. In my opinion, this is not good. I would just try to pay everything in the same currency, but again, we are just comparing them. So let's say yes, and if needed, I'm going to modify this later. Now another lunch. Lastly, let's imagine that my brother borrows money from me. So as you can see, there is a little clicker on the top, and basically what happens is that if you put something as a money transfer, it won't count as an expense. And this would be super useful to be in an app like Splitwise. In this one, I don't understand why this is important, even though it is cool, for something that I'm going to explain you later. When you add an expense in Splitwise, when you click on Split Equally, it will already ask you what type of split option you want, and they have a lot of split options, and this really helps you when there is very complicated math behind. On Tricount, they have a fairly more simple way to do so. So when you add an expense, you just put the amount, and then in here, if you click on Advanced, the Advanced is just for you to create a number. So imagine it's like my brother paid for 2 people, so it would be 2, 1, 1, 1. So in the end, he's paying for 2/5 of it, I'm paying for 1/5, and my mom and my sister, each one are paying for 1/5 each. This makes it far more complicated, in my opinion. Another thing is, as I said, in the balances of Splitwise, I have the two currencies completely separated. If I want, I can just go online and see how much is the exchange rate and then add these amounts to the value of each person, whereas Tricount just did all the math by himself. So it may be that you're losing or winning money by it because he has its own exchange rate. Of course, you can still change it inside, but I think that this is just too confusing and I prefer to have the currencies separated. Tricount will automatically have a simplified mode and Splitwise won't, and you'll have to activate it, but it's pretty easy. So you click on balances and it will say that the simplified depths is off. You will go to group settings and down they explain you what is the simplified group depths. I just turn it on because I like a simplified life, and you will too when you use this. Tricount automatically comes with this activated. When someone pays you back what they own, you just need to click on settle up. You confirm that how much they gave to you, and then you save. On Tricount, you would go to balances, you would click on, for example, my brother to my sister, and you would mark as paid. You could also edit the amount of money that was given by this person. When you go to balances, you are able to remind people that they're owning you money. This is also possible in Tricount if you create an account and everyone else creates it, but because Splitwise already requires you to add the phone numbers, I think that this is fairly more simple. Now let's just see some more cool features that Splitwise has that Tricount doesn't. With Splitwise, they create kind of categories, so if I click on lunch and I scroll a little bit down, you can clearly see that he recognized that the category lunch and dinner are about meals. He's saying that we spent $65 in this category in the month of July. So this is really cool because every time that you write something like flight ticket or bus ticket or lunch or dinner, Splitwise is already organizing those expenses for you and created these graphics even in a free version for you to consult. Another cool thing is on the right, if you slide these ones, called whiteboard. So you can leave on the whiteboard messages for the other members. Of course that most of these messages will end up in a group WhatsApp or whatever, but it's nice to know that there is one place where you can have a little note inside the app and everyone has access to it. Tricount doesn't have this. Moreover, you can export this. He creates a complete table where you can see the description and everything that has been happening in the trip, and in the end how much each person has to give or to receive. With Tricount, when you try to export this is what happens. So if you export it to files, it generates a text file just saying the Tricount app is available in, and then a link. It doesn't create this type of cool tables. Okay, so let's recap. Tricount is a fairly simple app that allows you to track your expenses and divide them with the group. However, it ends up being quite limited. It doesn't have an automatic, nor even manually, as far as I know, category organizer of expenses. When you try to export the group with Tricount, it just creates a file with a link. On the other hand, with Splitwise, it creates a full table. The table shows all the expenses that happen and also the balances of every member during the trip. One last thing that I would like to point out is that, honestly, Tricount has just a super cheap look, and it has third-party advertisements appearing all the time. Whereas Splitwise, yes, they will kind of annoy you to go pro, but they don't show you advertisements. So all in all, I maintain my recommendation for you to use Splitwise. Is a much more powerful tool that still allows you to use it in a very simple and intuitive way. So tell me what you think. Tell me if there are any other questions about previous videos. I will gladly answer to them. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it useful. And as always, don't forget to subscribe. I make new videos every Sunday, so be sure to come back for more. Beijinhos! I just received a text from my mom asking if we are traveling to Vietnam.